let's put it this way. I have to react to Punch on TD's, Punch on Curtis King, who was also affiliated with Top Dog Entertainment. If you know, you know. Get me? I knew from a while back, but I literally forgot. I don't know why I forgot. But anyway, so we're gonna get straight into this one. Curtis, Curtis King. Get me? So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification. Like I said, my name is Versatile, aka the Alkebulan. Trusted name you can trust when it comes to all things reactions. So let's just get straight into this. If I can actually find it. Yeah, there you go. Curtis King DV. Yes, I watched some of it because I wanted to make sure that I understood what I was watching. You know what I'm saying? It's what it is. And we can still react to it. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So hit the subscribe button. Let's keep it moving.
being
Yeah.
next.
Okay.
She had a very specific question for you.
All right. So shout out to Josh Jones as well, man. Shout out to every YouTube reactor, by the way. Like every single YouTube reactor. Um, by the way, I'll ask you something after you put it in the chat. Let me double check. All right, cool. So listen, we come. This is like a 4 hour interview. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Where should we? All right. So now we're gonna get straight into it. This is where it gets interesting because as much as I want to get into Kendrick versus Drake, I want to react to his. But then again, t- let's just start from here because it's still worth it. All right, it's still worth it.
How proud were you to see Kendrick's Super Bowl performance and the full circle moment it represented?
Oh, it was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, man, truly a full circle moment. This whole year, you know what I mean? The past 2 years has been a full circle moment.
Right.
Even with like Dot leaving the label to go start his own thing, to coming back. Now we together doing this stadium run.
Incredible.
Even the Super Bowl, he pulled SZA in. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like it's all.
Mhm.
It shows the strength of the family.
Facts.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why I think it was an amazing thing. When I saw the behind the scenes clip, I'm seeing you there with Dot and on the set of the Luther video.
Yeah.
Tell Dot, by the way, I'm still angry that he blew up the spot. The West End Bonaventure. It's one of the most comfortable beds in the world. And I just know
Yeah.
it's about to be all kind of TikTokers out there who gonna be like, "This is the man. This is the place." Of it. Oh my god! But
That's
enough.
hilarious.
What I loved about it is that, to me, it still has the same foundation in that y'all are never afraid to tell stories, no matter what's going on with the rest of the industry, what's going on with the rest of music.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all are
You see, you see what's going on here? What did I say? What did I say about Doshi? Like she literally was telling a story within her music video. Yeah, like I didn't even say forget the songs or the lyrics or whatever. Like I won't even say that because it still merges with the visuals, right? But the point I'm trying to make is it's so interesting to me how they find artists and put the artists out there that have the ability to be able to be this level of creative, and then they continue to find a creative wave where you're like, how did they do that? Do you understand? And even if you understand how they did it, you're still amazed about you're amazed by it because there's authenticity, but there's also relatability as well. Do you understand? Like, look at me. Like, I know we're talking about Kendrick Lamar here, yeah, but as far as Dolce in general, think about the song title, Anxiety. There's so many people in this world, so many different ages, different generations, different, you know, people from different corners of the world that have gone or are going through anxiety. That's relatable. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep moving. Let's go.
never afraid to tell the story that you want to tell. And now it's being met with, I mean, the viewership on just that video is insane in the first few days.
Bro, it's nuts.
And it's a love story. Imagine that in 2025.
Mhm.
In the
Right.
pop the balloon era where they're trying to convince us we don't like each other. A classic love story.
what it is just a good record.
And it's an amazing
That's where it
record.
starts.
Right.
Facts.
It's a good song. It's honest.
Facts.
I mean, it's something that people feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. It's classic. It got the Tammy Terrell, Marvin Gaye, Luther Vandross, Cheryl.
Oh, David, I didn't my list to react to today, Monday. Get me. Let's go.
Don't get more classic than that.
Y'all know good. Y'all know amazing records. It's no mystery.
Right.
All right, Punch. I got some questions, man.
I'm like,
man, you know, look. I know that you know how to maneuver this situation. I'm not gonna be messy. DIYers, I'm not here to be messy, but damn it,
dog, go in.
I got questions, man. Look, where the hell does this start? Is it the control verse that this whole Kendrick versus Drake situation? Do you know where that starts, or can you even speak on where that may start?
I can give you my perspective.
Okay.
And yeah, to my perspective, that's where it started.
Yeah.
You know, Dot did the whole thing and it's a competition thing.
Right.
Not a I hate you thing.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's hip hop.
Rap,
Hip hop
I'm
is
trying
a
to be better than
sport.
everybody. You should be too.
Right.
So a lot of people took it personal.
Why do you think that was missed, especially when we know this is a highly competitive environment?
Dog, it was all
Facts.
light skinned niggas.
Hey yo, me being a dark skin brother. Hey yo, nah. All jokes aside, though, it's so interesting because I'm glad I'm reacting to this interview now rather than later, because I was gonna actually dive deep into the anniversary of the whole thing and see where it started, right? But the fact that Punch is saying it started from the control verse, which, by the way, wasn't Kendrick Lamar's actual song. Again, just like that, he was a feature. He was a feature, and I'm pretty sure that control verse. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure, because when you think about that control verse, what is the first thing you think about? You think about that. You don't think about the song. Yeah, it's Big Sean song, Control, and that was in 2014. 2014. 2014. This has been brewing for 10 plus years. Now, some may argue and be like, oh, I thought it started with what happened to that boy. But I just think that is a coincidence now. Before, I said maybe it was that, but now it's clearly just a coincidence. Yeah, just literally a coincidence. You know what I mean? But anyway, let's keep it moving. Let's go.
That's why I want to be traded from this team. I told y'all, trade me. My mama named me D''WAN.
Bro, no, I'm joking, but I'm kind of serious at the same time.
No, you're not. You're not joking. I'm with you. I agree.
Pusha T was mentioned, right?
Right.
Pusha T tweeted Dot and said, I hear you loud and clear, Kendrick Lamar.
What's the confusion?
Meek Mill seen Dot in the club.
Yeah.
Walked up and shook his hand. Said,
Exactly.
I gotta get you back.
Exactly. That's how it should. That's how it's supposed to be. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I would react to the whole song, but I would particularly react to the control verse. So shout out to Big Sean. Shout out to, do you know what I mean? To Kendrick Lamar. Shout out to everyone that responded properly. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I'm pretty sure in that same verse, if I remember correctly, Kendrick Lamar said he was king of New York. And I remember saying when I first heard it, right? I remember when I first heard it, I'm like, how are you letting someone from LA, from the West Coast, saying that you're the king of New York? Imagine in the 90s, if someone from the West Coast said they're king of New York. You know what I mean? If Tupac was to say it, you know what I mean, then he could claim that because, I mean, his original name was MC New York anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he was partly raised in Harlem or whatever, or some part of New York or whatever. So he can kind of claim that. You know what I mean? like one of his best movies, Juice, is filmed in New York. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, look, was that filmed in New York? I'm pretty sure it was. I can't remember. Like there was one particular song, Above the Rim was filmed in New York. That I do know. But anyway, let's keep it moving. That's neither here or there. Let's go. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's go.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When my guy Cole seen that, they end up escalating to the fight with him and Puff.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying?
Is that what happened? And it's so ironic that in the verse, this is what's so crazy. In Euphoria, what did Kendrick Lamar say? Or was it in Euphoria? I'm pretty sure in one of this is he said you're gonna make me want to bring back Puff. So now it's making me think. And mind you, yeah, it could be a double entendre now because I'm thinking the fact that J. Cole had a situation, not like that, you know, that situation, that altercation with Diddy, then Drake has also had a situation with Diddy as well. You know what I mean? Like, not like that, but maybe like that. You don't even know these days in regards to Drake. You know what I'm saying? But, and I ain't even trying to be funny or anything. I'm just keeping it a buck. Anyway, the irony, buck break. Anyway, never mind. I'm about to say buck breaking. Allow me. See, this is how you know I like listening to music with lyricism. You know what I mean? Not to say that, you know what I mean? Like, because I quickly think of lyrics in my head, like just like that. You know what I mean? But anyway, so all that aside, though, yeah, it's just something Kendrick Lamar said that makes me think he could be also talking about J. Cole as well, because J. Cole did apologize. But at least now, if like it's a tricky one, yeah, because you know when people, the time when he apologized, everyone was in their feelings like you can't be doing that, blah, blah. Cool, whatever. Now it just makes me realize. At the same time, J. Cole wasn't in that headspace to be like that. 2014, yeah, man was. You see what I'm saying? So he is literally, in my eyes, he's forgiven. You know what I mean? He's forgiven in regards to that. But I didn't appreciate him after the fact. You know what I mean? Trying to say he could have did this, he could have done that. No, if you could have, you would have. Do you know what I mean? You just backed out like I don't even use the word, but like you backed out, bruv. So when it was happening at the time and Drake was doing his thing, I was giving him credit. But then after doing the lawsuit, I don't give him credit anymore. Because it's like, yo, you anyway, let's keep moving. Let's go.
Then with Drake, he doing interviews like he really upset about it.
He was very upset. That Elliot Wilson was telling.
Right. And like that kind of threw everybody for a loop. It's like, huh? What we doing?
Especially when once again I keep pointing back to the roots of things and that you were in a room, like even Ali talked about it. He's like, he knows how much of a blessing it was to be in an environment where it was highly competitive with not just 4 artists.
Yeah.
Anybody who could any given point in time could be somebody's main artist.
Yep.
And it's going to be competitive, especially when you got that going.
Thing though, like what we didn't take into consideration is everybody didn't come up that way.
Sadly.
So it was second nature for us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But everybody didn't have that same thing.
And
how much of that do you attest to?
See, and I like how he said that. And I like how he said it so calmly. And he wasn't saying it in a way of dissing. It's just facts. You could be of the culture and be raised within the culture, or you could be someone that's raised, but in a sense where even though you may feel like you're for the culture, you're not necessarily for the culture. You're just for the moment. You get it? You're for the moment. You're for whatever is popular or trending. That's not whether that is a bad or whether that's good. That's not for me to say. You understand? That genuinely is not for me to say. But what I will say is, when it comes down to the simple fact of hip hop culture, there are those who are like participants, and you could be a participant in respect to, like, even if you're a rapper or artist, whatever, yeah, you could say you're a participant, but at the same time, you could still be a guest. Do you get it? A guest where you don't really understand the culture, but you're a willing participant. Even if you're doing journalism or whatever the case may be, you could be a willing participant, but at the same time, you still may not know or understand certain aspects of the culture. Now, there's two things that could either happen. That you could come across as a culture vulture, and you genuinely may not be a culture vulture, or you may not come across as a culture vulture, and you may be in a position where you're like, you know what? Let me continue to study more. Let me learn more. Let me understand the rules of the culture. Do you understand? There's those out there genuinely like that, and there's those genuine out there that are genuinely culture vultures, even if they're trying to show you that they're not culture vultures. Oh, they are culture vultures. Yep. Then let's keep moving. Get me? I'm not trying to diss anyone. I'm just gonna keep it all the way 100. Let's go.
In terms of the reaction, also maybe some inner biases that exist for West Coast, or do you at all?
What you mean?
I'm noticing there's a certain nature, even for somebody that's not a street dude. I'm not a street dude, but there's a certain level of directness that I feel like living out here has given me. And I don't recognize how direct it is until I'm talking to some of my East Coast counterparts, and they're like, well, why you say it like that? And I'm like, what did I say?
Now this is East Coast, right? And being direct, it's so interesting, yeah. This is what's so interesting about culture and language and all that stuff there. I genuinely feel that if the directness and boldness and the way that some people may talk, like I'll give you a prime example. I need to react to more of this guy's content. But basically, it's a comedian, but like he does different parts. He does skits on different parts of London. That's just London, right? Hear me out for a second. I know you're probably thinking, well, what's this got to do anything? But he's doing a skit on how they react to, like, how people in North London react to the same situation that someone in East London would react to, or so how to put it. There's a situation that's happening, right? So the person who lives in North London would react completely different to the one in East London, and the one in East London could react completely different to the one in South London and in West London, so on and so forth. Do you get it? So I say that to say this: as far as the East Coast, from what I'm seeing from the outside looking in, versus LA, versus the West Coast, the thing is, what I've realized, and this is just me looking from the outside. Again, I do not know proper facts. I just know from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. Both East Coast and West Coast do seem to be more direct. Do you understand? Like, especially New Yorkers, they are more direct and bold. They may seem like they come across as rude, arrogant, bold, all that stuff there. However, when it comes also with the West Coast, same thing. Do you get it? And South London, for example, come across the same way. That's why South London will always get that stereotype. Get me? Like, I'm here for it. And what? See what I'm trying to say? Like, for example, anyway, I won't get to it because I'm dragging this for a bit. Let's go.
Difference in the way things are said. Even the way somebody said, Curtis, why you say car like core? And I said, I don't even notice when it happens. But Dot said, nah, niggas don't like the West Coast. I'm fine with it. I'll push the line with it.
Yeah, that's been a theme for sure. But I always say that LA in particular is gangbang culture first.
Right.
Hip hop culture after that.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's different for other spaces.
Right.
So our approach is always semi-aggressive.
Right.
Even if you're not a street dude. You know what I'm saying? Like what you just saying.
Right.
And see, that is 100%.
And that's just the West Coast mentality, and a lot of people.
That is 100. When I say that, is 100% similar to South London. You may not be, do you know what I mean? From like, you may not be, what's the word? I want to be careful with the words I'm using, but like, you may not be repping a certain group. You see what I'm saying? But if you're from ends, you're from ends. Do you know what I mean? And it's gonna come across that you're literally from ends. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can be anywhere in the world, and I can tell you from now, you would know if there's someone from South London. Do you know what I mean? You would know just by the whole demeanor or whatever the case may be. Like, I remember I was somewhere, I don't even know where I was, but I remember it was not somewhere in London, that's for certain. And they could tell, all right, like they could tell from South London. I'm like, how did you know I was? I didn't even say it. The funny thing is, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. So imagine with the West Coast guys or brothers or whatever, or sisters, whatever, and yeah, and just keep moving. But where are you from? You asked come below. Is it similar to where you are? How is it? How is your area stereotyped? How about are you stereotyped to be aggressive? Get me? And it's mad, not even mad. It's interesting for me because I'm also dark skinned, so naturally, what happens? There is another extra stereotype where dark skinned brothers are extra aggressive. Do you know what I mean? And even when I'm talking, you may think I'm being angry and shouting, but I'm not. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's go.
Just don't like that.
Mm,
That might make people uncomfortable or whatever it might be.
yeah.
But, just difference in culture for some.
So on record, what you're saying is West Coast light skins are different, is what you just said.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll take that.
Absolutely.
A win is a win. A win is a win.
Yeah.
Deshaun, I'm playing.
Yeah, I get emotional, but
Look. I'm trying to walk.
still aggressive.
See, he's not gonna let us have no win today. We not look. We didn't got set back years. Man, but I think about that control, and when I heard it, I was like, "Damn it, this always needs to be an element of hip hop culture. Anything involved, I don't care if it's mainstream rap, whatever. However you want to separate it, there should always be an element of that. Beyond the high yellowness, what do you think it is that people miss? What do you think it is people miss in terms of, people are like these are the same artists that are competitive about record sales.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing you see some of them use when they do end up being at odds with somebody else. Why was that missed when it was such a wide net? Because he wasn't just talking about one rapper. It was the whole gang. Even the people on the damn record with him.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. I don't know, man. It's just, I can't explain where that comes from other people.
Right.
Or why they feel the way they felt.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I know it was friendly competition.
Right.
It's like we on the court, we playing basketball. I'm trying to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can go get something to eat after, whatever it is. But while we playing, I'm elbowing you. You know what I mean? Shoulders is going crazy.
And what that reminds me of as well, yeah, like if you're a fan of football, not American football, I'm talking about actual football, like the one where they kick the ball with their foot, hence why they call it football. Do you know what I mean? For the majority part of the game. All right. Anyway, basically, what I'm gonna say, it reminds me of players have a club that they play for, right? And for the most part, some of them are selected to play for international or for their nations in international tournaments or friendlies, whatever the case may be. Let's talk about friendlies because it makes more sense for to say friendly because then, you know what I mean? Because we're talking about the context here. So, for further context in regards to that, when it comes to the club, right, there's certain players from certain international sides. Let's imagine they're from this. All right, put it this way. I want to give an example of a team, and I don't want to mention names, but I will give an example. You got, let's just say a team from Premier League, because most of the time they're gonna have teams that, you know what I mean. They're gonna have players. Most of them are going to be playing, especially that if they're like top five. I'm going to say top six, top five. Do you know what I mean? Or top four. technically tops. In fact, most of them got players that play in the international side, right? But imagine, right now, there's two things that could happen. You got in the club itself, yeah, in that one club, you got possibly two players fighting for that same position. Imagine, for example, if it's, for example, a striker or a number 10. Let's use number 10 for. Let's use a striker, for example, instead of number 10, because some of you may not understand. All right, so now the issue with this is you can have them being from the same country that they represent, right? The same country, but they are fighting it out in the club for that number one spot to play for the first team that they have to start. You know what I mean? That's competition. So they have to be like they have to train well in training. In training itself is a friendly competition. Now, if you've watched John Obi McCall's podcast, you know what I mean? And he had guests that were from his team in his day. Like some of them said, "Oh, it was a friendly competition, but it was aggressive." Do you know what I mean? Like it was aggressive. Like so, and I like you said saying about elbowing this that it was that. It was that. And it's so ironic because as he mentioned that, and I'm thinking about it now, that team for Chelsea Football Club that John Obi was playing for, that era, Chelsea were winning trophies. Do you understand? So you get the point I'm trying to make. So that's one side of it. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
Right. It's like a pickup game.
Yeah, well, it's still love.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate you, my nigga. It's cool. We good money. But again, everybody wasn't raised that way.
That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Well, we saw as I'm gonna just give the vantage point. Now I don't now I'm removed from the TDE group because I didn't y'all went out. Y'all was skyrocketing. I was grateful to be able to say like I know these dudes, and I was grateful to see y'all when I saw y'all. You know, it's funny. I was telling stories for years about me and my back in my TDE days, and my wife was like, "When's the last time you talked to him?" And I pulled up on my guy B Fresh's release party, and I seen died, and he was like, "Man, you doing good for yourself." I said,
Speaking of that, he's actually wearing a K Dot or Kendrick t-shirt. I just got it just now.
Yeah, see, but I want to dive more into this category now. So, over the years, we as a listener saw what seemed to be subliminals thrown on both sides, or even at least could be interpreted as that. And you know, because we don't really get a lot of interviews from Dodd, or we don't really get, you know, or the other folks who are involved in it are not as direct. We never really know until we knew.
Yeah.
As it is approaching to that time, I'm curious, what was the energy like internally when the Kendrick versus Drake battle first kicked off? And let's talk about specifically with that like that verse.
It had been bubbling for a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? We was pretty closed mouth about it. Didn't say much. You'll hear little subliminals. But I got to the point now where I'm like, I'm going to speak on it if somebody asks me.
Right.
Because now it's about legacy. You know what I'm saying? Like usually we just let things go how they go.
Right.
We know what the truth is or whatever, but now it's like, okay, I speak on certain things. So I was I think I was just getting ready to go out of town on tour with SZA when Dada came by the studio. So I didn't see him. I missed him. And he played the record for Top. You know what I mean? And I talked to Top. He told me a little bit about the record. Then I hit Dot. I'm like, it's going down? He said, yeah, let's see what's up.
Hey, what was his demeanor?
Laughing.
See, that
Hey, yo.
crazy. Yeah. What you mean laugh? Just this is.
People think that it's so serious and this whole thing. Like, that stuff is funny. This nigga's from Compton, California, bro.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Like, where you grew up at, it's serious over there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You getting shot at. You getting home invasions. You getting gang wars. Nigga, we talking about music, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's funny.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if I hear the record, I'm like, yeah, it's up. It's go time now, baby. But it's still for fun in the spirit of competition.
Right.
Facts.
All right, here you go, nigga. Ain't no big three.
Mm-hmm.
It's this.
What was your impression when you heard first person shooter? Did you hear it at that point? Or was it even on your radar? I know you got a lot of responsibilities as working with SZA, but was that something that came on your radar at first too?
Honestly, not in that way.
Right.
I heard it. But I mean, the nigga Drake do so many subliminal shots, it's like I can't keep up.
Nah, for real.
Like for real.
These are facts.
And they dope too. Don't get me wrong. Like the boy can rap for sure.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
I can't keep up and try to keep
He
dissecting.
can literally rap, even though he's an actor
everything that's
and a
being
rapper.
said.
Right.
But Dot felt the way.
Oh yeah, he sure did. And you know what I loved about, because it's funny. Here we are. You know, today's the 18th of April.
Mm-hmm.
Look at God. That's how I know God got a sense of
And I
humor.
rapped this on the
It's
19th.
anniversary or something.
Tomorrow is the day that the first song or the first response, I guess you could say it, from Drake, Push Ups, dropped.
Oh, for real?
April 19th.
And what day am I reacting to this on? April 19th. Like, literally. And the funny thing is, I could have easily reacted to this yesterday, by the way. You know what I mean? But I say easily, but there was literally no time for me to literally react. But let's keep moving. Let's go.
That's crazy.
God got an amazing sense of humor. And I'm
Wow.
sitting here in front of Punch right now one time. Come on. So that dropped, and
Yeah.
I got my own theories about things. I'll reserve them because I already got videos. But when I saw the first song, the same question I had about when I was watching this battle with Rum Nitty and Daylight, and he brought your name up, and I said, there's certain things we just don't do. There's certain things I came up. Like I said, I'm not a street dude, but there's certain things that I just say,
Yeah.
certain things you just don't do. And when I see things, my skin starts to crawl.
Right.
When I heard some of the things being said in push-ups, my skin starts to crawl because I'm like, now I don't think Drake was able to decipher the difference between when Dot says a friendly fade, and when things can get personal.
Right, for sure.
Question. We need to figure this out, right? The timeline of when he said it to his friend. Let's see. Friendly. The reason why, because I think, he said it in Euphoria. But that's the thing. Had he said it in like that, one could argue and be like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? But it was already too late. Because in push-ups, Drake mentioned Kendrick's wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about it, it was already too late. It almost felt like, really and truly, it was Kendrick peeling things back layer by layer. And obviously that's what Pusha T was saying that he wanted to do. But we really got a surgical summer because that's what technically happened in spring. But come on. Not like us was surgical.
Now that we know things are kicking off, what's kind of your response in seeing push-ups?
My first response was, it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough. It was cool. It's cute. I see where you're going.
Right.
But those angles not going to be enough. Hey, as simple as that. Plus, was number one on the charts.
What was that?
Like that.
Like that show. It was going crazy.
Yeah.
And see, that to me, what's funny is that no matter what his current circumstances are, I still see so much DNA in a moment like that, for a record like that, for the artist that it's with. That's a highly competitive hip hop verse
Facts.
on a club record.
Right.
Facts.
And I'm watching, Like Punch, y'all did something, and we're gonna have to get to this because it is literally transforming channels like my own, who've been wanting to talk about this stuff for a long time, the culture. But the culture did get into a certain place where, you know, the algorithms that be, I can't even say powers that be, the algorithms that be quieted a lot of it. But when I started seeing all the videos popping up and I'm seeing demographics that I don't usually see, bar for bar reciting what he's saying, I don't know how somebody doesn't see. I gotta tread carefully with this. That's a verse we're talking about.
Yeah. What's like none of the world powers that ruled the world actually seen when they was gonna face destruction.
One more time, you said none of the world powers.
Yeah, that was dominant at the time. Like if you look at anywhere from Babylon to Medo-Persia to Egypt, whoever, it was so powerful that they didn't see a situation where they would fall.
That's deep. And it just got me thinking about the club I support. You know what I'm saying? Like and then look at the table, I'm like, ooh, and I know this is a timely thing, so timely. This is a thing in the future that people could watch. But in the era, in the time that I'm watching this, my club can resurrect again. Not that deep. You know what I'm saying? It's not that deep. It literally ain't that deep. But I wanna know. What I wanna know is, it's interesting how he is saying it so calmly, like Drake's empire, so to speak. He never saw this fall coming. And the joke is this: I'm not even saying that his empire should fall or anything like that. And I don't even think that's what Kendrick wanted or what anyone from TDE or pgLang wanted. It's more of the case of the fact of he really was so used to dominating, thinking he would win at every hurdle or every pit stop. And you would think like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, this is nothing. I can brush this off. I will win this. Oh, here's what it is. To the point where you get arrogant and you're not seeing what's in front of you. And maybe that's going to change soon. I don't know where you're going to realize, oh, or maybe, you know what I mean? Because sometimes in life, let's just forget Drake for a second. Sometimes in life, God, whether you believe in God or not, that's on you, but I believe in God, right? God will give you warnings. It's up to you to figure out what the warning is, you know what I mean? And figuring out how to deal with those problems. You know what I mean? How to solve that problem. Then the bigger blessing will come. Like, I kid you not. Like, I genuinely kid you not. That's just from my personal perspective anyway, and what I've personally gone through in life so far. So it's like call it what you want, yeah? But I feel like Drake, let's talk about Drake again. I genuinely feel like Drake got so arrogant to the point where he realized that that he realized. It's one thing to think look, I'm not saying you shouldn't feel like you're number one. You should always feel like you're number one, like you're the best, like you're the greatest in hip hop. In general, you should always feel that way. So I will never ever disrespect anyone who ever feels that way if they genuinely feel that way, right? I mean, I could bring up some receipts to be like, nope, you're not the best, you're not the greatest because of this, and that. But there's always going to be debates. Now, my thing is, with Drake, I genuinely think he really thought that no one, or not just no one, Kendrick Lamar he thought Kendrick Lamar didn't have it in him to be this vicious and relentless. I don't think I think it was Pusha T, he didn't know either, but I felt like he accepted defeat. Do you know what I mean? He accepted it after a while. He had literally accepted it. With Kendrick, it's a different situation, and I just want to I want to know why. I want to know why. I'm gonna figure out something in a minute, but let's just keep moving. Let's go.
So you kind of missed it.
Right.
I mean, you get into decadence and this whole thing, and before you know it, your whole camp's surrounded.
I want to can you drop a book? I want to master this art of talking, because I'm saying it's certain times I didn't say it too much. You say just enough. Cheers to you, sir. Okay. In true maniac fashion is what I call. My thing is, I love a healthy level of maniac. I got it in me. I love a little bit of crazy. As people are gassing that Push-Ups record, as people are gassing the moment, and then we get a follow up with the tailor-made freestyle, which at that point I'm like, okay, what's going on here? To me, I read that as, okay, it sounds like someone might be getting nervous because it's too quiet on this side.
I read it as his first mistake.
Damn.
How so?
Because to me, it felt like a mockery of the West Coast.
Facts.
Absolutely.
So when you do that, you're gonna unite it.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
If it was any type of division or anything at that time, once you do that,
right,
you're going to get all the people together. You're going to congregate
them. Hearing an AI version of Tupac's voice delivered by that guy has never made me want to rip off the high yellowness off me. I seen it and got cringe when I seen it, because I said, there's no way in hell. And then you're seeing, but see, here's the added element. Yeah. Mistakes are made in every battle. The added element that got me is some of the things that you see in the political sphere now entering the hip hop media sphere.
Yeah.
And now you're getting a pushback with a lot of different outlets that are trying to help a moment where maybe they themselves were a little bit nervous about it. Because I remember, if I'm speaking to specifics, I remember DJ Academics was counting down days and saying,
he was
3 days since, we haven't seen a response.
He was. Back of my mind, even 90s Baby Show, they were counting down. And I said, don't worry. Kendrick will respond. And he will win this beef. And I never, ever, ever thought it would get to this level of where there is a lawsuit against the label that Drake put out there, you know what I mean, for the fact that they're promoting a song about defamation of character, but at the same time, you're on UMG as well. Like, Drake is on UMG, and he also has songs out there that are defamatory towards, in this particular situation, towards Kendrick Lamar. Mind you, you've got defamatory content towards, you know what I mean, Officer Ricky, you know what I mean, defamatory content towards. Look, I'm gonna throw Michael Jackson in that as well, because of in the party mentioned about Michael Jackson in, you know what I mean, in Family Matters, but also defamatory content towards who else? Towards ASAP Rocky. So when you think about it, I'm just being a neutral here, as a neutral. Let's just be neutrals here. Yeah, as a neutral, there's some things that just don't add up. Do you know what I mean? It's like you are being contradictory, if that's the word, or you're contradicting yourself. That's what Drake is doing. He's contradicting himself. Just take the L. Understand you messed up, or not even just messed up. I don't even say made a mistake. At the end of the day, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? You got into a battle, you lost. You get me? You got into a battle against Pusha T, you lost. Do you understand? You lost. You got into a battle with Meek Mill, you won. Is it the case where he thinks that he didn't want to lose another battle, so that's what's messing with his head? Maybe it's that. I don't know. You tell me.
Punch, I said it in a video. I said, after this tailor-made, I said, good guys, you're going to get a master class coming up.
Yeah.
I saw the way y'all worked.
And that you know what? And you privy to that. Everybody else didn't see that.
Yeah.
And everybody think we don't put out enough music.
Mm-hmm.
So they took that as some sort of weakness, as if nobody's working.
Right. And you yourself just said Solo would take a few weeks off, come back and put half an album down.
Absolutely.
It's like
for sure.
This is the environment that you're second guessing. Well, me being privy to it, I couldn't even see that.
Even if you go back to it, right?
Yeah.
Dot put out an album every year and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
For years.
He did.
All the way up to Damn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The only delay was Big Steppers.
Big Steppers is right. Okay.
In that time, we had a full pandemic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which people don't account for.
Right.
So it's like you got to give at least 3 years to that. Because you don't know the state of what's happening, what's going on with the world.
Right.
So from that, the narrative became, you don't put out enough music. Like, oh, you didn't do the history.
Yeah.
You missed the whole thing.
This is why we're jumping around, because now I get to put a pin in this and say, I remember when Dot was dropping music all the fucking time on Two Dope Boys.
Absolutely.
And it was like it was to the point where he would have a single for his single for his single.
Yeah.
If you want to look at it from the old terminology of the music industry, putting out music was never the issue.
Never. And it's still not the issue.
Right, we see that now.
Yeah,
For real.
hit the bomb on that one, Deshaun. I think we've seen those of us who are big fans of what Kendrick does, and man, it's dope for me to be able to separate me getting to know the person, but then also getting an opportunity to enjoy this and be like, yo, that what I went to Pac for.
Yeah.
I'm getting what I was hoping to get from 3 Stacks at some point.
Mm-hmm.
He found a way to do it in his own way and make it his own story. And from day one, he told you what the mission was.
Yeah.
And never strayed.
Never strayed.
Facts.
Stuck to being honest.
Stuck to being honest. And then, Lord, oh Lord, that waiting period is so diabolical, Punch, because when things started to like, oh, he ain't coming back outside, we're done here, it got quiet.
Yeah.
And then Euphoria drops.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that you heard Euphoria beforehand.
What's crazy is, like I said, I had to go on tour.
Oh, you had to go on tour. That's right. Okay.
So I'm in Australia. And to kick off.
Wait a minute. Slow it down. You're in Australia.
Yeah.
The irony. Continue.
That's hilarious. So we out there, and I called Dot like, yo, I need to hear this record. Because we had been talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm going to fly home. So we had a gap of about, I think, 3 or 4 days between shows.
Right.
I took that flight from Australia all the way back home.
Oh, wow.
Went to the studio. He pulled up on, it was a Room Full of Mirrors session.
Yeah.
He pulled up. I played the whole Room Full of Mirrors album first.
Yeah.
Then I made everybody leave.
You made it.
Yeah.
How you made everyone leave?
No pushback. I know folks had to put their ear to the door or
It
something.
was funny. Everybody left right when the booth.
Yeah.
Huge booth. And he played me the joint. It was playing through the earphones in the booth.
Oh, so they could. Oh,
So everybody heard
wow.
it anyway.
So they had to act like they didn't hear nothing. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, wish I could hear that record.
Bruh.
There was rumors that there was an 18-minute version of that. Had you ever heard anything about that?
I don't know the length, but it was definitely longer.
There was a
Damn.
Yeah, it was definitely longer than the version that the world got.
yeah.
At least he confirmed there was a longer version. So imagine, because mind you, that's like 7 minutes. 7 minutes, and that was the first response to push-ups. All right, listen.
So there's a lot of stuff that that didn't make it on there.
What perspective can you give us about? Look at he over here tripping out. What perspective can you share with us about the version we never heard?
It was just some things in there that I didn't think would have been beneficial in the long run to put in there. So I gave him my input on that or whatever. So he took some of those things out.
Damn.
Now, Kendrick.
So he listened to Punch's input and said, you know what? He basically said, you know what? You gotta, like when you open up a kind of fizzy drink or whatever, right? Or even a bowl, like sometimes you just have to open it up slowly. Imagine if you like literally dropped a can of Coke on the floor, for example, like by accident, for example. Do you know what I mean? You have to open it slowly, just slowly, so it doesn't. Do you know what I mean? Like go when you're like pour over your face and over your. You know what I mean? And sometimes you may turn it slowly or try to open it slowly, and you still get. Do you know what I mean? But sometimes, for the most part, from my experience, when you open it slowly, you know what I mean? Most times, you find a way where it still fizzes up. Don't get it twisted, but it doesn't fizz up to the point where you're catching the stray. You get it? Like, you see how I like lyrics, yeah? If you catch that bar, you caught that bar. If you don't, I don't know what to say to you. All right? I don't know what to say to you.
Infamously said, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5 in stock. I know I'm moving out, but I want to ask this specific question because I still want to walk down the timeline. Have you had a chance to hear the Mother 5 in stock?
No. Nah.
Okay, so moving along the timeline. We talked about, so what is that? That is Euphoria. And then what is the next one we get? We get do we finally get we don't get Family Matters. There's another one that was a leak that happened in between. That's the timeline that I had to think about. So 616, you know what's crazy, Punch?
Oh, he has that Buried Alive.
That's the one I was talking about. I know I always missed that one because I didn't listen to that one. That's the one I didn't listen. At this point, I said, I have this theory, and I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not putting words in your mouth, but I have this theory that he started just dropping shit to see what Dot was going to do next because he wanted to see his damn self.
Man.
Because this was pure cinema.
Maybe. I don't know. I know it's tough when you engage like that,
right?
To deal with silence. Silence become a whole different enemy.
Right. That's the Absol calling, by the way.
Yeah.
Should I go ahead and? You mind?
Nah, for sure.
Hello. Hello, Absol. I'm assuming you tapped in right now, Solo. How you doing, sir? How are you, brother? Hey, man, I'm just sitting here talking to Punch, man. We just having a good old conversation about, huh? He's right here. Oh, Punch TDE. You're familiar with him. Oh, you talking about Zordon? Good.
I don't think you understand who Zordon is. Like, some of you may not know who Zordon is, because if I remember, let me just go to it real quick. Zordon. He is a fictional character on Power Rangers. Do you know what I mean? And on Power Rangers, Zordon character, he's like the face. Do you get it? He's given directions to what the Power Rangers should be doing. Do you get it? From what I recollect. But let's see. Let's just quickly go to it. So, Zordon is a fictional character from the Power Rangers franchise who serves as the Rangers' mentor. Do you understand? That's as simple as it's gonna get. He served as their mentor, so that's why he calls him Zordon, because he serves as like like Punch serves as the mentor clearly to Kendrick Lamar, J Rock, Ab Solo, who's on the phone. You know what I mean? Obviously, Rayvon, who recently signed. Who else is there? Doshi, who's recently signed. Do you understand? Like Scissor, like clearly, especially like if you're talking about Kendrick Lamar, the fact that he took out a lot of lyrics from the Euphoria song, it goes to show he has a lot of respect for Punch. Now we're gonna call him Zordon because he's Zordon. You know what I mean? Like they're giving the right direction of where to go. Like, go, let's. This is cold.
What up, brother?
How you feeling, man?
Oh man, just sitting up here chopping it up with Curtis.
You got the linen on with you?
Nah, you know me, regular old white tee.
Oh, you got socks on today? You got the socks on?
You know what I'm saying? You know it.
You in town? Where you at?
Yeah, man. Pull up on me.
All right, man. I'll tap in, man. Hey, man.
Hey.
Take it in. Hey, Curtis, man.
Yeah.
You getting real close to heaven, man.
Look, it feels like it. It feels like it. At some point, sir, it would be amazing to have a sit down with you over here as well.
Facts.
When time is allows.
Hey, you got to talk to the president.
I'm sit. You know what? I will bring that up. I appreciate you calling in, sir.
There you go.
Come on.
My brother.
Come on.
So long.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you soon. Church. Crazy. What a damn year. Yeah, we retiring Rochelle. Mama, get yourself. We retiring you this year. By any means is going to happen. Okay, I'm sorry. So buried alive. I'm not looking. I'm sorry. You were in the middle of a point though. You were landing something.
No, I was just saying how the silence. I think the silence was tough to deal with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not knowing what's going on.
What does that do to someone who is unprepared, you think?
I think it drives paranoia.
It does.
'Cause you don't know what's
got-
what.
Right.
You know what I mean? Your mind start doing all sort of things.
Yeah.
Not saying him in particular,
Just
but just
in general. Yeah. I'm only asking in general because there's stuff out here. So 616 in LA, I had never seen us in Punch. You know, I have been. I saw Jay-Z. I saw Jay-Z Nas. I've seen all these different.
I've got the TV on the news, bruv, and I just seen something mad. You talking about the level of hip hop culture reaching other nations and stuff. Well, not particularly in this thing, but like I've just seen a robot do the nay. Now what we whip? Now what we nay? What in China, brother? What? Nah, it literally was doing what we whip. What we nay, like that dance is so familiar. There's no way you would miss out on knowing what it is. But anyway, let's keep it moving.
Different things play out.
Clearly,
I've seen how.
Clearly, Drake thinks that Kendrick fans are bots. Do you know what I'm saying? Get me? Hey, listen. Does it look like I'm a bot to you? You know, yeah, like come on, man, relax.
How nasty battles can get in this arena. One thing I have never seen in the midst of a battle is an artist telling his competitor, hold on just a second, I need to say a prayer. At least that's how I interpret 616 in LA.
crazy.
616 in the morning, a song drops.
Right.
And I just so happen to be getting ready to get my son, take him to school. And I said, hold on, son. The most infamous words Kendrick just dropped that we would keep repeating over the next few, not even the next few weeks. This man wrapped this whole situation up in 5 business days.
Facts.
Crazy,
Did.
right?
That is incredible. But 616 in LA drops, and I think this for me, and I would love to get your perspective, especially at, just on some hip hop shit too. Like 616 in LA is a moment where we see the vitriol sometimes that happens in these battles, and we see where it's like, who can go lower? You go low, I go to hell, type of thing.
Yeah.
This was so unique because I feel like it was so on par with the man that we have gotten to know through his art form. In that, look, God, you know that I'm a work in progress. I just gave you Mr. Morale, which to me now, in perspective, in retrospect, feels like almost like a purging before engaging in such a thing as this. How did you read 616 in LA, and what made it unique to you?
So again, everything is wrapped up around this Australia trip.
Right.
After I heard Euphoria, I flew back.
Gotta be here for this.
You're right. I flew back on tour. Euphoria dropped. I don't know. I think it was the next day maybe, or I don't know how long it was after that, but I heard 616 when I was getting off the plane coming from Australia.
Wow.
Yeah, so to me, I just took it as he was telling to think about this whole thing before we go too far.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I took it as. It's like, just, think for a second.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm telling you certain things, like, really think about where you want to go.
I know I skipped a step, but that to that warning, okay, to that warning, there were certain lines that have been crossed by Drake, in my opinion, and we're especially knowing from where we're from.
Yeah,
and just really just as men in general.
Yep.
When you get the family involved in some of these narratives.
Exactly.
When you literally speak on family and business partners, and you say all of these things that you're saying, I just remember just sitting there shaking my head.
Yeah.
And saying, I just don't know if the guy understands who he's in a battle with.
Yeah. But again, I don't think when you're so successful at certain times,
right?
I don't think you see everything. I don't think you take the time to really consider what's what.
You don't think it makes you more care? Because you, I'd said it
That's
before. I
interesting
seen a
they
picture
said
of
that.
you.
Because you would think, yeah, if you are as successful as you say you are, not if you're successful as you say you are, but like if you're successful, right? Like I'm pretty sure you're gonna put yourself in a position where you don't want to mess this up. But then it could be a point where you're so successful, but you never. It depends on how you were raised. If you had literally, I don't want to say that didn't come from not like if you really started from the bottom, like I'm telling you, you would find a way to not mess it up. But then at the same time, let's be honest, some people have started from the bottom and they've done things that kind of mess things up. Do you know what I mean? But it's I don't know. It's just one of those ones.
Jay-Z and Bill Clinton.
Right.
And you looking real comfortable because you like, I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You've seen some of the most elite performers in their arena. You are one of those, right? Like you are, to me, one of those. You when they talk about Barry Gordy, like you have to talk about a lineage of folks who have been able to build and create and help artists along the way. Like what you've done is something that generations will talk about. But you've seen different perspectives, and I would assume, being that my money's not like that, that you become more safe or you become more strategic about these moments because of how easy it is to be lost in your own.
Yeah, but again, that comes with your background and your character and who you are. Like I can't speak for him personally.
Sure.
I can speak for me, and certain things I would look for is based on how I grew up and how I was raised. So I'm always being tuned to certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't say that for
Okay, now
everybody.
that makes
Everybody
sense.
got a different
Why
experience.
I don't know if it's him who scouts the artist or whatever the case may be, but it makes sense to why certain artists of a certain caliber when it comes to Top Dog Entertainment. Do you know what I mean? Now it makes sense because when you think about it, You sign whoever is that. Then again, it's a tricky one because you got those who sign because they sign artists because they know they potentially could be trending, they could be popular, this could be the next sound or whatever the case may be. Do you know what I mean? They could be that, but this is just a simple case of they respect the art, they respect the culture, and they just want to tell stories. That's how simple as it sounds. And obviously, authenticity matters clearly.
You know what I mean? But what I do know is you can be blinded by so much success at times.
Right.
It's
Right.
even times when I've been in that situation that to will it back in. Like, hold up.
Yeah.
You get caught up in this whole thing.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And it leads us into probably a moment that some will say for his side was a moment where he, I guess, finally decided to take it serious in some people's eyes with Family Matters. And one that felt
That's
a
the
little bit
thing. I
more
don't think it's
direct.
not that he wasn't prepared or didn't take it serious. I think Drake honestly took this serious and was. I wouldn't say he was prepared or wasn't prepared. I just feel like Punched, aka Zordon, like he said, it just was like push-ups wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And the thing is, sometimes you can do your best, and your best is literally not good enough. It sounds sad to say and harsh to say, but if I'm looking at it from a sports perspective, it's literally that. I've seen, like, I personally have seen and watched the team I support. You know what I mean? In fact, yeah, the team I support, right? Well, let's talk about the club I support, right? I've seen them literally in some games, yeah, like they will literally perform well, like literally perform well. They will outdo their opponents, except for in outscoring their opponents. Most times when it's against Liverpool, by the way, in the finals, most times it's been that for the how many years? And let's not talk about that ghost goal as well. Not ghost, aka James St. Patrick. But anyway, don't get me started on that. But the joke, like all in all seriousness, though, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you could play your best, but it's just not good enough. You know what I mean? It just isn't good enough. It's the same thing with. In fact, when I think about it, if there was one way for me to summarize Chelsea's season this so far, and I know I'm talking about thing here, but like it is the case of possession style of football. Yeah, it looks nice from time to time. It depends, but possession is 9 tenths of the law. But at the same time, I've literally remember seeing when Liverpool, I think it was they were facing Southampton or was it? No, it wasn't Southampton. I think it was Burnley. I think it was Burnley. This was years ago. They had all the possession, most of the possession, should I say, most of it, and they lost that game. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how it goes sometimes. Let's keep moving.
And one that felt like he was, attempting to, I guess, get into more of his lyricism bag to a certain degree.
Yeah.
The thing that struck me about that song, because shout out to my dog Stevie Crooks. He always says, like, the problem with the audience is that they get too quickly hypnotized by the beat.
Yeah.
And they don't really necessarily pay attention to the things that a lot of us are paying attention to, and they don't see what the substance is. I listened to that and I was like, all right, here we are now 4 songs in. We talking about Buried Alive, and he still hasn't done the Drake thing.
Yeah.
There's no singing hooks. There's not even a back-to-back or a charged up situation. There's no club records. I know you can't speak for what his strategy was.
Question. Even answer the comment section below. The one where he was dissing Pusha T. Was it Infrared? Was that the name of the song? Let me know. I'm pretty sure that was meant to be like a quote unquote club tune, right? I don't know. You can let me know. And then Pusha T's response to that was what? The story of Added On. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you saw what happened after that. You know what I mean? Like, I really wanted to see a surgical summer. I really wanted to see a surgical summer. You know what I mean? Just for hip hop, for the culture of hip hop, I really wanted to see it because I wanted to see how Drake was going to respond to that. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to see the back and forth. Do you know what I mean? And knowing how Pusha T is, you know what I mean? Like, is he gonna? Because in that song he said, in that diss he says, like, how dare you put Ye in my verses? Also, no, how dare you put Ye in the verses? I'm selfish. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's like, don't diss Kanye. Diss me. Diss me. I listen. Pusha T, like, man, legend. Let's go.
Was, but how do you interpret seeing that approach now that we're at Family Matters? Because it's a very different approach than you've seen with Pusha T and all these different folks.
I had the same excuse me, I had the same thought with Family Matters that I did with push-ups. You know, it was that it's not enough.
It's not enough.
Straight like that.
What makes it not enough in your eyes?
I think another mistake that they made was giving the idea that they was finna push this red button.
See, again,
I think when
look,
you did that,
I'll be
you did
honest,
that.
that's not a mistake. It may seem like a mistake because it's like you're giving anticipation, right? That's what he's more going to say, because that makes sense. I know what he's saying in regards to that. But that aside, yeah, because even if whether he said that, like, obviously what's happened has happened, but imagine he didn't say that. Even when you hear the song itself, yeah, it sounds good, but the substance within doesn't, because he still said that line where he mentioned you're rapping like you're trying to free the slaves. He still, like, for some strange reason, despite his Michael Jackson references throughout the disses, he end up dissing Michael Jackson for no reason. Yeah, like, huh? And then he wasn't even dissing just Kendrick. He was still dissing Rick Ross, or Officer Ricky, should I say. He still was dissing ASAP Rocky. So it's not the case of the mistake or the red button, because irrespective of that, you know what I mean? When I heard them, like, it's alright, but like, when I think about it, for me, I'm not saying everything needs to be facts. I'm just saying it should be facts, really and truly. But like, I just feel like there's so many elements that come into play in it, to be honest. Yeah. But like you said, it wasn't enough. But let's see what Jordan has to say. Let's hear it.
Anticipation a bit too high.
Right.
You know what I mean? So now people have expectation.
Right.
No, but hang on. Also, let's keep it all the way 100. Let's keep it all the way 100. I actually remember this now. Even despite that post where he said he's going to push the red button, I believe it was Akadidi who said it, or there was someone else, but I'm assuming it was Akadidi. He said that Drake and Kendrick have a song that is going to. They're going to push the red button, or they're going to have something. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what the word was. There was a particular word they used, or phrase. And to me, and this is where I think this was even before that, Not Like Us. It was definitely before Not Like Us drop and Family Matters. But this is when there was some AI versions of certain or disses. Do you know what I mean? That was coming out, and I'm like, you know what I mean? So I get it, but no one, and I say nobody, was expecting not a song like Not Like Us. Nobody was expecting it. Not even me. I wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? I genuinely wasn't. I think because, like, I don't know, like, call it what you want, yeah. But like, I know Kendrick can make bangers, but I didn't expect him to release something so quickly after Family Matters. because I'm pretty sure for me in the timeline of things, it was before Family Matters. So basically, the timeline for me, from what I remember, like that dropped, or say first person, then like that dropped, then after like that, then we have push ups. After push ups, it was Euphoria, then 616 in LA. Then after that, I'm pretty sure it was Meet the Grahams. Then after that, it was Family Matters. No, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. I just realized something. No. It was Family Matters. Then, yes, Matters. Then Meet the Grahams. Then Not Like Us. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because I remember it was just funny how, like, literally within half an hour, if that, Kendrick released, after within half an hour after Drake released Family Matters, he released, Kendrick released, Meet the Grahams. But I feel like it was before. Why do I feel like it was before? I don't know why. I feel like it was before. Let me know what the timeline for you when you saw it, because for me, it's just timeline is everything. Let's go.
Stuff now. He finna push the red button.
Mm-hmm.
It's over now.
Right.
And when that happened, then what you call it drop right after?
Well, okay, to that point of the red button,
Yeah.
y'all stay pretty even keel no matter what's going on. Y'all don't let the elements around you change what your strategy is. In that situation, when you hear that, do you think there's a part in Dot that says, all right, it's time to lock in? Or is there like we're doing this, let me over prepare for what that may be? Or is it just, I already know what I am and I'm confident what's about to happen?
The latter part. You already know what it is.
Yeah.
Like, people were saying that Dot wasn't battle tested.
Where did that narrative even, and it came from people who don't battle rap.
They just didn't know.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And speaking on things that they didn't know about.
Right.
When I saying that, I'm listening like, all right.
All right.
I hear you. But it's like, Dot was fully prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? With no songs written, he was fully prepared.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, no, man. But it's like, you got the anticipation that his red button, that thing drop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. Oh, you got dirty. You went far. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go further.
And further he went, because damn it, after that song, they couldn't even have enough time. There wasn't enough time for them to put a piece in the oven.
Yeah, for sure.
There wasn't enough time to even put a piece in the oven. You couldn't even watch your favorite sitcom because damn near less than 30 minits later, Meet the Grahams happens.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It was that.
Here's where I,
Makes
as a
sense.
listener,
Because I did say 30 minutes. And this is what's so, it's the timeline of everything. Because listen, if you are familiar with grime culture, which I will react to some more grime, so make sure you stay subscribed. Yeah, I will definitely react to more grime songs. 100 million bazillion %. All right. Like, basically, I just remember a time where, do you know what I mean? There was response quickly, like back to back. Like, when I say response was quick, like Chip versus Young'un, for example, like, or Chip versus Bugsy Malone. Do you know what I mean? Or I know Chip's in a lot of war. Well, a lot of let me not use that word. Chip is in a lot of grime beefs. You know what I'm saying? Get me? Wait a minute. He released. I need to see. I've got to react to his songs as well. Oh, this is. Let's keep moving. Let's go. His album. Grab Scene Savior.
say, this is what makes somebody like a Dot so dangerous, is that you I still don't feel like throughout those songs, and maybe you read it differently, I didn't hear an angry Kendrick in that.
Nah, neither did I.
I heard one that was like, I'm warning you. I'm telling you. Okay, let's have a discussion beyond this show. Let's talk about the person behind this performance. Because now you involve in my manager. Now you involve in family. Now you doing all of this stuff. Okay, well, let's really talk about you and Meet the Grams of something where it was like it's an Alchemist beat.
Yeah.
It's just
Again, you
Dun,
mentioned the
dun,
anger,
dun,
right?
dun, dun, dun,
This goes back
dun,
to an
dun.
earlier
Hey,
point.
listen, Alchemist is a cold producer.
Your uncles get
Ding,
killed.
ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding,
Friends get
ding,
killed.
ding, ding. Hey, listen, that beat, and it's supposed to be a gospel. Did he say it was a gospel sample? This guy.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Got jumped. We're talking about records, bro.
Yeah.
So there's no anger there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Battle tested, that's battle tested.
It's battle tested. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It plays a part in your whole mentality. And that goes into what you do from here on out.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah,
you're talking
that's
about
dope.
clashing words.
Playing devil's advocate for those who say,
How
well,
he's
this
laughing.
elevated,
Talk about
the
clashing
elevated
words.
stage that this is being done on does put your legacy out there looking a certain way if it doesn't go. Because we've seen this flip for other people. Like, you know, I hate to use examples, but, you know, the way that it turned for Ja Rule,
Yeah.
the way that this could very much be a make or break moment.
Can I make a counter
no-
argument for Ja Rule? I'm going to make a counter argument for Ja Rule. The counter argument is this. The label he was signed to, it just so happened that his label was under investigation and the person that they were investigating happened to be someone who was this is from how I see it. They were extorting the label owner, right? And he may have felt that he wasn't being extorted. He was okay to think however he wanted to think. All right. But I say that to say this. When Gotti, for example, tried to relaunch the label under, I think it was actually The Ink, things were never the same because 50 Cent already gained momentum. Do you understand? G Unit already gained more momentum. Now, had he did exactly what Officer Ricky did, which was just consistent release hits, then he would have been fine. Stick with singing with Ashani. Stick with rapping with Charlie Baltimore. Stick with, do you know what I mean? Stick with that. If you stay in your lane and know what you're good at, do you know what I mean? There's nothing 50 could have done. He could have, like, I mean, he was trolling back then anyway. You know what I mean? But like, there's not. I'm telling you, when you think about it, it's like. But then it's weird because it's not even weird. He has a cool fan base, so he's still touring. It is what it is.
No different. It's funny. No different from like corporations in that when I think it was Jack in the Box said that they had better fries than McDonald's and they almost went out of business.
Yeah.
That's when the Jack head exploded in that old commercial. These are very risky moments. And when you're saying certain things about me, about my reputation, not that provokes anger, but at least, you know, that does create a new element of emotion, I imagine. No, not at all. Unfazed. Okay.
I mean, you got to think about it. Like, before that whole battle situation, Dot highest moment commercially was Damn. Like, Humble was a diamond single.
Right.
I think it's almost double diamond.
Damn.
So
Literally
you
that.
experienced all the success you can experience in hip hop
Right.
at that level, at that point.
Right.
So this battle was just extra. You know what I mean?
It's almost like, you know how they say NBA players, you can't be one of the greats unless you get in the slam dunk contest.
Right.
Right.
That sort of
Right.
thing.
That's how I kind of read it too. Because I'm like, at this point, we know he is who he is on his own
For sure.
with the team and everything that's been like. We know there's no doubt about that. There's nothing about it needs to happen. But you know how the analysts. It's funny how much the shit that's happening in hip hop media mirrors the stuff that happens in sports journalism.
Yeah.
In that if LeBron James loses this game, his legacy is on the line.
Right.
And it's like we're just gonna
That
negate
can't be
everything else
journalism.
that came up. Conveniently,
Anyone who
negate
says
everything
that,
came
that's
up
not
to a head.
journalism.
That's human nature.
I'm not sorry. Anyone who use something like that, if he loses a game or his team loses a game, it hampers the legacy. No, that's not how it works. Do you know what I mean? That's not how it works. That's not how it works. Now, if like, because a career is built over time, innit? That's what I'm gonna say. A career is built over time, so you can't literally tarnish a legacy. Now, people can talk about you. They can have certain things. They can say certain things about. Now, it's different if it will be a stat. It will be. I don't know. It's hard to really say because that time when Mike Tyson got arrested and he was in jail, I'm pretty sure there's a generation of people that do not know that fact about Mike Tyson. They don't know that fact about Mike Tyson. They don't know that fact about Mike Tyson. You understand? They don't know. They don't know that era of Mike Tyson. Does that ruin his legacy? Does that tarnish his legacy? Especially for what he went to jail for. Think about it now. I ain't trying to diss the brother. You know what I mean? Again, most people still say he's a legend. You know what I mean? Even despite that situation with Joe Paul, they will still regard him as a legend. Do you know what I mean? And even though he may not care about his legacy, you know what I mean? We still call him a legend. Let's go.
Nature, but nah, it don't work that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your legacy is based on a career span.
See?
Right.
It's not based on one moment. That moment is a part of the legacy, but it's
Yeah.
not the legacy.
That's an interesting point.
Okay, so Meet the Grams happens, and oh my God, I listened to that record, and this is where I'm like looking and I'm like, to me, it's that Mamba mentality, and it's a reason why when he sat across from
wait.
Kobe, and Kobe said, you know,
Speaking of Mamba mentality, hold on. I just realized Kendrick, and obviously technically not black. But anyway, I just realized something. Kendrick did back-to-back twice. Euphoria, 616 in LA. Then after that, he did Not Like Us. No, Meet the Grahams, then Not Like Us. Cold.
you know, who reminds you of yourself in the music form? And he said, of course, Kendrick, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I looked at this and I said, all of those, going back to the moment that I told you, when I heard a record where they all play, everybody in TDE played the role of a different member of Wu-Tang for fun. It wasn't a record where they were like, oh, we do this, we're going to go crazy on the blogs. And no, that was a record that they did because of the love of the sport.
Hey, that's a song. I was on that song.
You was on that song too.
West
Wait a minute,
Coast
who did you play on that one? Or who was you? You really?
I know I gave them young boys a run for the money.
Oh, you did. That's why I don't buy it when y'all hear you talking. I'm like, Punch know he nice. Punch me know he nice because I be listening. You listening to a Room Full of Mirrors record this morning. I was like, there's a certain demeanor, there's a certain confidence that you gotta have to talk like this.
Yeah.
And like I try to tell artists when I do music critiques.
Yeah.
Ali said this too. He was like, there's a certain level of confidence that is built within your silence too. Mm-hmm. A lot of rappers try to overtalk the moment. And those moments where you just like, no. Huh.
You know what it is for me? It was a moment when I was 25. And it just hit me that nobody can do me better than me.
Facts.
Not one other person.
Right.
So I took that attitude and mentality in everything I do.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the track with Dot and Soul or Light, whoever, yeah, they do all these things, but they can't do me better than me.
That's
right.
Facts.
And I'm always stand on that.
It reminds me of, I don't care how great the players are. Back to the basketball analogies, Phil Handy. is going to always have the utmost respect of Kyrie Irving, the utmost respect of LeBron. And no matter where they're at in their career, I need to go talk to him. Not I want to, I need to.
For sure.
Because of the vantage point and the wisdom that comes along with it. But like don't get it twisted. Like,
Right.
I'll be nervous right now. Talking about, hey Curtis, I need you for a record.
Yeah.
You need me to do what? Oh, we got to work today. Okay, cool. Okay, so then we're wrapping it up now to where there's just the battle questions, and I really do appreciate your transparency.
Sure.
Man, that's incredible that I'm talking to you after reacting to all of these clips, and they're like, man, shut up, bro. You ain't gonna get no interview or nothing.
Yeah.
How you feel right now?
Facts.
So Kendrick circles a block and comes back with Not Like Us. A day after, like I said, this whole thing happened in 5 business days. I don't think people will recognize how quickly of a wrap up this was until we do the 1-year anniversary this next coming week. Not Like Us.
Yeah.
First of all, why do you think people didn't think he was capable of being the one to get a record off like that? Because I heard that narrative a lot where they were like, man, just wait till Drake drops the hit record, and when that happens, it's a wrap for you guys. I'm like, you act like this dude ain't the songwriter that you just described in the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah. You know what? Well, somebody made the point. I think it was maybe Ebro or somebody when he said that Drake fans aren't necessarily hip hop fans,
Facts.
and that plays a huge part in it. So a lot of the
And this is the thing. Drake isn't necessarily for hip hop either. That also plays into it as well. I'm just calling it what it is.
points and ideas is not based on hip hop, but it's based on love for Drake.
Facts.
Damn. Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if we love hip hop and we have a certain kinship within that,
Right.
we're gonna be able to admit where our favorite was wrong at some
Facts.
point.
Sure.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And the other guy that ain't our favorite
Right.
was better, or whatever that might be.
He didn't have it that day.
Right. That don't happen with a lot of Drake fans because they love him to death.
Yeah, he can't do no wrong.
And that's just it, which I feel that. Cool.
Right.
Great. But it's like, I think that's where that narrative came from, and it's based on back to back. You know what I'm saying?
The song or the
song.
The song itself. Okay.
Drake's song, back to back.
Right.
That's when he got meek with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people was waiting on history to repeat itself with that joint.
That's why it's so funny when I look at some of the Easter eggs. He said, back to back. I'm gonna get back to that for the record. I said, when I see things like that, like, okay, here's the question I have
for the
because,
record.
you know, no disrespect to my dog DJ here, but he kind of like killed a lot of the conspiracy theories of like, when he said this, he meant this, and da 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 and da da da.
Yeah.
And he kind of was like, man, he ain't really even on all that stuff. And I said, respectfully, Cap, because I've been around y'all and I've talked to y'all. Last conversation I had when I went to go visit even the homie Daylight, the casual conversations we have are not normal conversations. And I can only imagine what it's like in the family dynamic at TD. I saw some of these. Y'all are brilliant minds.
Appreciate that, brother.
I don't look at anything of this as accidental. So when I see some of these things, yes, sometimes when it's your time, certain things will connect.
Yeah.
But how much of that do you think was calculated on the part of Kendrick?
It's super calculated.
Right.
Yeah, we calculate a lot of things. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there
And
and
I said it. I've said it before. Kendrick is definitely calculated. What do you mean? He like, if we're gonna talk about this year so far, like he's got a performance. One of his Grand National Tour is in Canada during Father's Day in Canada. Is that not calculated? When he did the pop-out show, it was on Juneteenth. Is that not calculated? When he released the video for Not Like Us. It was on the 4th of July. Is that not calculated? When he released the video for not Squabble Up, the video for Luther, you know what I mean? That also was calculated. Look at the day when it was released. Look at what that it was. He's calculated. If Drake thinks he's calculated, like Kendrick said, you're not calculated. I can even predict your angles.
Everything was
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Because some people just reach and they figure,
for sure.
I'm looking stuff. I'm like, come on now.
Right. But the majority of the things are calculated or taken into consideration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Y'all are well worked. Y'all are well read. Y'all well versed. The kind of references that I heard you even bringing up today about the Egyptians. I'm like, you casually say that.
Right.
This is what drives all of the energy with it. Like, nah, he meant that. Nah, run it back. Run it back. That's a quadruple entendre. It's funny. I never forget. Soul came to visit me when I lived in Rancho, and he told me, he said something like, I got both hands in the pot like I'm ambidextrous. And he said, you corrected him about it was something about that detail. And he was like, man, he's like, but see, that's why punch is so important, because it's moments where I'm like, I'm in my bag. And he's like, no. You, what did you mean when you said that? So when I know that kind of detail goes into it, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, yes, some of these things are going to be full brain conspiracies because we're that excited. But zooming out, we're excited about fucking lyrics right now.
Facts.
Punch, like, and I say this like as a man fully secure in my emotions. I sat there in front of this live stream, and I'm in an audience maybe of like 1,000, 2,000 people as they're asking me to dissect the lyrics from my lens as an artist.
Yeah.
And that shit just gave me goosebumps. I almost feel like breaking down, because I'm like, it had been so many years of mediocre.
Right.
Sadly.
Right. Sure. Which is why when I get people who have their criticism of my channel, like, oh man, this is just a pro TDE channel. I'm like, I'm sorry that your favorites are not providing the authenticity.
Right.
It's almost like when you the first time I had a real steak. I can't go back now.
Nah, for sure.
So when I think about the first time that I heard music that actually spoke to my soul, human music, I'm looking at everybody else like, why are y'all taking days off?
For sure.
Why do we have filler songs? The streaming era, I think, brought about a lot of that as well, because it was quantity over quality. But no matter what, that's what happened. So to my point, I think all of the songs that happened, and so Not Like Us drops. I looked at that. You know what I said, Punch? I said, ooh, so much of this shit is reminding me of the cultural phenomenon that Control was.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's bigger.
Bigger, much bigger. But I'm saying in terms of, I remember how excited I was for you when I was like, Phil Jackson knows who TDE and Kendrick Lamar is. Like,
Crazy,
this is
right?
like Phil Jackson.
That.
In 2012, that's a bigger conversation. Now I'm looking at this and I'm like, you got pastors redoing the song.
Facts.
You got presidential nominees playing a song.
Facts.
You got corporations getting they licks in on Twitter and all of this different stuff.
And how about this? In the UK, Kendrick's first number one happened to be in the UK. His first number one happened to be a diss song. It happened to be Not Like Us. And the sheer irony of it is, it was released it went number one months after.
You got all of these different things happening over a song, and it was like, I couldn't understand, and I say this carefully, I couldn't understand any of the bot allegations that were being thrown, because I'm like, I can walk around the city and see the impact.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't fake influence.
And trust. They try to read the
crazy
game, but they
'cause,
can't fake influence.
Well, I think of Not Like Us, it takes me back to another earlier point when I said his first mistake was that Taylor Made record. So that enabled Not Like Us to be made.
If somebody would have told you,
And the sheer irony of that tailor-made record, the sheer irony, it was it was Drake taunting. He was taunting Kendrick to say, I dare you. Okay, this ain't verbatim, but he was literally daring him to mention the fact that Drake likes them young. He was saying it out his own, well, not out his, well, using the voice of Tupac and Snoop Dogg. You understand? He was doing that. So this is what makes his lawsuit again. This was what makes his lawsuit against UMG so like frivolous. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Just take the L, bruv. Like, you messed up. I think Punch is right, aka Jordan is right. He messed up by that Taylor made record because that enabled Not Like Us. But thank you, by the way. Like, if Drake fans want Drake to have credit for the release of Not Like Us or this records, then fair game. You know what I mean? You can also credit Drake, credit Kendrick as well for Push Ups, Family Matters. You know what I mean? You could do that if you want. I prefer you to do that because like it's just one of those. That's fine. Like I prefer you to like we can all give credit where it's due. Do you know what I mean? I'll be honest. Like I said, when I was reacting to it, I literally was giving credit to Drake. Like, raw, he literally, do you know what I mean? Like, because it's a moment. Like, it's a moment. You don't have to take it as far as a lawsuit. You know what I mean? It's weird. Do you know what I mean? I don't even say it's weird. It's just strange. It's just not something that's done in hip hop culture. And I don't think even in pop culture that it's done. I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift had beef with. She had a beef with someone. But let's keep moving.
you in 2012, yo, a record with Dot and Mustard would be not only the biggest record in hip hop, but the biggest record in music. Period.
Sheesh. And music, period, is crazy.
Yeah. At that time, there was no conversation. There was no conversation about a song. Yeah, we can talk
You know
about.
what's funny?
Huh?
What I got to give credit to? Glass has always said that they need to get together. Mustard and Dot.
Really?
He said that for years.
Huh?
And once they get together, it's gonna be insane.
God's timing. It did when it did because man, oh man, when we got the GNX album. Matter of fact, Nashawn, would you mind? You good on time, by the way?
I'm good.
You good? Okay. Nashawn, would you mind pulling up a guest question? Matter of fact, if you don't mind, grabbing these headphones here off to the side. There's a question from a up and coming journalist named Moni. She is amazing at what she does, and she been going to bat for a lot of things. TDE, specifically Doechii, specifically SZA, and she's representing the ladies. And she has a question since we're getting to the celebratory time. I do want to talk about the pop out, but I want to leave room for this conversation about G and X. Okay. She had a very specific question for you. Can you go ahead and play that, Nashawn? Thank you so much, brother.
On GNX title track 10, The Heart Part 6, Kendrick Lamar takes listeners on a trip down memory lane. He shares how he got his start and the people who made a tremendous impact, not only on his life, but as an artist. And in verse 3, he starts with, Punch played Phil Jackson in my early practices, strategies on how to be great amongst the averages. I picked his brain on what was ordained highly collaborative. Where were you when you heard this record for the first time? And how did it resonate with you that Kendrick Lamar affirms you were his Phil Jackson, one of, if not the greatest NBA coaches of all time, while on his way to being the greatest rapper of all time?
Go ahead and pause it real quick. There it is.
Sheesh.
Glowing reviews.
Glowing reviews indeed.
I can answer now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was actually I went to his studio. He was finishing up the album.
Mm-hmm.
So when I walked in, the young lady who sang the interludes, the
Or this no.
Hispanic lady.
Oh yeah,
Can't think of what her name is off
yeah.
top.
I got access to it, but yeah,
She was just finishing up her parts
yeah.
and was walking out, and he played me most of the album. Then he played me that one,
Mm-hmm.
and like it gave me chill bumps instantly because he's speaking the truth. Everything that he said actually happened,
Right.
and it just transports you back to that time frame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I had chill. I can get chills now. You know what I mean? Just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But for him to make that comparison, like it's the highest honor.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a man who won the Pulitzer Prize.
Come on.
The
on.
only rapper in history, despite Nas referencing it before, but the only rapper in history that has won the Pulitzer Prize. So that should already. That's how you. If you were a betting person, right, you would not bet against. I say bet against Drake. You would not bet against Kendrick Lamar. Do you know what I mean? So let me correct myself. You will not bet against Kendrick Lamar. Do you know what I mean? Let's keep moving on.
Yeah. You know why I took it here? Full hat on. I got a theory, and I feel like I might not be that off. Because after Not Like Us, we got a version of Heart Part 6 that we don't really acknowledge. I don't acknowledge. I say that was beige rage on full display, is what I call that.
That's
It's a light school term.
I call it the white flag.
Hit the button, please, sir. Hit the button, please, sir.
He ain't lying. He ain't lying. It literally is the white flag. He is not lying.
It felt like it because he said, y'all.
No, because it genuinely felt that way. And you just say it. You don't say a white flag, but like, I don't even want to rap. I don't even want to diss you anymore. Okay, you read the white flag.
Got this shit burnt the heck out. I said, oh, come on now.
Yeah, it was I mean, just to be transparent, my honest opinion. And two, for the record, I gotta say, I'm probably the most unbiased when it comes to this situation. Like, I respect Drake's talent and skill as a songwriter, as a MC.
Right.
You know what I mean? All the success he had. Even conversations I've had with him, like, always been a cool dude. Like, I had to clear the scissor record for him or whatever. So, like, I don't have no beef or malice towards him. Right. It's that he's battling my guy. So,
what you think is going to happen?
It's up.
You would do the same thing.
Yeah. So,
See, I was thinking Monet. There's only one Monet I'm thinking of. Do you know what I mean? That when he's referencing Monet, by the way, I'm thinking it can only be that Monet. Do you know what I mean? She's definitely been on the side of the right side of hip hop, should I say? Do you know what I mean? On the right side. Let's keep it moving. Let's go.
When I heard that record, it felt like defeat. Like he felt exhausted.
Yeah.
Like vocally on the record.
No, he did. He genuinely did.
That's why after I heard it, I wouldn't put Good Battle.
Oh, you put that on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
He
did actually.
It did.
And this is what I'm trying to say. This is before the law, like from what we see in the public in regards to the lawsuit. Yeah, because I genuinely felt the same way in regards to Punch. Like it was a good battle. It was a good battle. The end. That's how it should have been. Good battle. Cool. Let's move on. But no, Drake wants to be in his feelings. Drake wants to do lawsuits. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep moving.
He did that at a time where it was like the other record was taken off in a way where even if that wasn't a diss song, that would become the primary focus of whatever company is attached to it because that song took off with gasoline draws. Here's my theory on Heart Part 6, which I thought was really interesting. As the West Coast might say, after Kendrick marked that nigga out, I'm just playing. After Not Like Us dropped, and he said, this person in the crew, this person doing this person and this, and I feel this way about you.
Yeah, he was in his feelings.
Drake decided to do his own addition to the Heart Part series, which anybody who's a fan of Kendrick understands how important these records are, as almost like
No, hear me out. We know that the Heart Part series, yeah, is something that is special for Kendrick, and you know what I mean. So that's why he did it. That's why Drake did it, because it's like, all right, you're gonna take my timestamp records, which funny enough isn't his record. You know. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Photos in a photo album.
Yeah, for sure.
To remind you of where I'm at, right? And as he gets to Heart Part 6, soul calling again. Hello? Are you there? Oh no, he gone. He gone. Okay. No, so he might have butt dialed me. But as we talking about Heart Part 6, I thought was really interesting is this. This is my theory. Heart Part 6 was him and his white flag, but he also was at that time starting to kind of deny whatever people may be saying about him or what they interpreted as the record as. And he's like, nah, that, I would respect that record you got if it wasn't full of lies. And he just talked about him. He defended him at a time after his whole label got called out. All his label mates got called out. He didn't say nothing about them and his crew.
Yeah.
I listened to Heart Part 6, the real Heart Part 6, and Kendrick makes it all. Because when I seen it, I was like, oh, shit, we ain't done. And then I heard it and I said, what a masterful move. Not even move, but what a masterful, not even move. That's not the word. What a gesture. Because at that point in time where everybody is focused on what is this going to be about, he tells you what it's really about.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just a testament to who he is. Like, that didn't have nothing to do with Drake's record.
I'm sorry. Soul just clarified. He said, I said paraplegic. Both hands in the pot like a paraplegic. He said what you meant was ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Okay. You said just being funny. Okay. He had to clarify. I'm sorry, Solo. I had to make sure that he like, don't play with my words. But I'm sorry. He was saying that record. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah. They didn't have nothing to do with each other.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a response because you did that. I'm gonna do it this way. It was the heart is all about the heart.
Right.
The feeling where I am.
Makes
what
sense.
I've been through since the last time you heard from me.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things was he left the label to start his own company.
Right.
So what he did was gave backstory and context to what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's what the heart is always about. If you go back and listen to him,
Mm-hmm.
And I actually will.
album to album, what was going on in that transition period.
I actually will.
Do
It
you have a
reminds me
favorite
of when DMX, he always had like a obviously they're not the same thing, but like he has like a prayer in each of his albums. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Of the series?
That one now,
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
Like I love all of them.
Right.
Really, but that one right there, because he touched on the whole team,
Right.
like it just felt so much different.
And the first one I believe that we saw. Well, no, that's not true. Because what was the one where he had the guy in the beginning? He was like pack of Marlboros, gallon of water. That's my favorite, and I think it's more so about where I was at.
I like the Heart Part 4.
I think that was my favorite before.
My favorite one.
Yeah.
I like the Heart Part 6, but if I was to
Man.
do it top,
As soon as I said that, I heard the first
the Heart
sounds
Part
of the
4
of the
one
beat
of my
coming in.
favorites.
Last question I got about this, man, is after all of the, you know what's funny? The homie who was like super revolutionary, he was somebody my homie Masawa would always say. He used to call me Panther back in high school because I was like Black Panthers. He was about brown pride. He would always tell me, he said, never forget, Panther. He said, even the revolutionaries had cookouts, had barbecue cookouts where they play good music. They enjoy each other's company. It wasn't all so serious. That thought came back to mind when I saw the pop out.
Yeah.
Because we've seen situations happen where something drastic happens, even if it's, losing his brother Nipsey, and you saw folks unify upon that particular event.
Yeah.
But I think some of us still had questions about, like, is it because of this singular event, or do people really want to unify? Punch, when I sat here, I had food poisoning. I couldn't be there in person. I sat on his couch and I watched it on the projector. And the first thing I told my wife, I said, this show was amazing to see, because in a moment he could have made it all about him. He brought all these different artists that said, he said, oh, you like Not Like Us? You gonna love some of the folks that are opening up this show. Some of these artists that maybe you're hearing for the first time. He made it about more than himself. He made it about the city. And I looked and I said, I started looking like at some of the artists, and I said, I'm not a street dude.
Yeah.
But I didn't produce in a lot of environments where I had to learn some things real quick, affiliations and all that. And I said, oh, they in there with them? But what I noticed this time was it was smiles. And it felt like people genuinely wanted to be in the same building. To your point earlier about First Mistake, what did you see about that moment that made it so special in your eyes?
Whoa. When Nip passed, right?
Right.
You seen something similar.
Yeah, we did. I remember.
But that was uniting out of mourning. The pop out was united over love.
Fair, that's true.
So that was the difference.
Yeah.
And both of them talked about it as well.
Yeah, we got differences.
Like literally, both of them talked about it.
We the same.
Nipsey talked about it with
us.
Kendrick.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? That was what the whole pop out was about.
Right.
And then before Doc come out, like you said, he had all the young guys, some of the guys who was already popping and established. Everybody came and got down on stage before him.
Yeah.
When he came out, he brought Dr. Dre out, and he brought his three brothers out.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was, man, that was a moment.
Therefore was.
One of those where when I hear my
Iconic,
talk about
man.
the Olympics,
You
at
know,
the
it's
Coliseum,
iconic.
and the moments he has with that, the first time
There's moments in hip hop culture we can just say it's iconic. You have the tour where you have DMX, or should I say Rough Riders and Rockefeller Records, got that tour. That was iconic in itself. Then you have the Up in Smoke tour. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I listen, and that was West Coast as well. Well, I say West Coast, but that's West Coast affiliated as well. You know what I mean? With Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, 50 Cent, or so. You know what I mean? That was So when you think about it, it's like there's moments, and yeah, that's tours, and this was a show, but at the same time, I'm just talking about hip hop in general. It's like, for example, just the other day, and I know I'm live, and you're probably watching the replay or whatever. Like the other day, for example, even though it's not hip hop, it's still an iconic moment at the O2 Arena. You have Garage Nation. You know what I mean? Where you're seeing Soul Solid, More Fire. You're seeing all these other like elite garage crews, groups, and you know what I mean? Like, if you know, you know. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's funny because I say garage, but more Soul Solid in general, it's like they're like garage, but they're like grime, but they're like pre-grime. They're like grime before grime was even called grime. But even listen to their sound, it doesn't sound like garage. It doesn't sound like grime either. It's so solid, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Let's go.
Artists that have become legends. Yeah. When he described that to me, right back when he was introducing me to MC Breed, and Ain't No Future in Your Front, and he's trying to give me a vision of things.
He from the Bay?
No, Pops is from out here.
Okay.
Pops is from out here. It's funny because Pops, like, at one point Pops was a super hip hop head, and then he got into the educational field. Yeah. And as he kind of got into there, his focus went to different places. But Pops used to take me to Curtis Middle School, and he would play, MC Breed. He would play Eazy-E. He would play, and that's kind of the combination that created my palette, was that everything. I go to my mom, she'll play Lionel Richie. She'll play Wham. She'll play Marvin Gaye. And so he was the one that introduced me to some of these like West Coast classics. And he would tell me about these events and how he would paint a picture. Like, short story, Pops took me, when they announced the verdict on the Rodney King trial, I was on Pop's shoulder.
Crazy.
Wow.
And he took me off his shoulder because I think he sensed something was about to happen. I looked to my right, and a dude throws a trash can through the gas station, and then we have the LA riots.
Absolutely.
Heart beating out my damn chest. But Pops would always make sure I was a part of these moments. But when he talked about that, I swear to you, I sat here and I said, this is my moment. Even if I'm not in that place, as I'm going to tell my son about this moment, because of I knew how much hell West Coast artists got. At one point in time, I was told, even though I didn't sound like a lot of my counterparts, they was like, the problem is with the West Coast sound, it's too regional. The fuck does that even mean? Too regional.
I don't understand that. Southern artists sound like Southern artists. What they used to. No, they still do. Then you have what you call it. You have New York, East Coast sound like East Coast. They literally sound like East Coast, right? But not some. It's rare. It's literally rare. And I think the good thing about the GNX album is going to bring about, and I'm saying this now, like I genuinely feel it's going to bring back that essence of everyone sounds like where they are from, which is a good thing, because then you're putting on for the city or the state you're from, or wherever or the coast you're from, or the country you're from. And what it allows more diversity and more, you know what I mean, uniqueness, you know what I mean, and more situations where artists can do their thing, you know what I mean, rather than trying to emulate someone else's style. Do you know what I mean? Because it's been a while. It's been a long while since New York, for some reason, they've been trying to emulate ATL sound, but then they've also been trying to emulate the UK sound. You could agree, you could disagree with me if you want, but as far as the drill scene is concerned, no one cannot tell me. For example, Pop Smoke made it popular. Yeah, for the UK, like for example, M1 on the beat, M1 like made it. He gets a lot of placements because of Pop Smoke. Do you get it? Everyone's trying to use that sound. Like it's not just about the voice or the rapping voice or whatever the case may be. It's the rhythm itself. Like you can tell when it's an East Coast sound, and you can tell when it's a West Coast sound. Like you can tell. Like we can tell. The moment you hear dun dun dun, like for some reason you can just tell it's a West Coast beat. I don't understand it. But let's go.
I used to come on to Rap City, and being regional was what you saw on the television screen. I wanted to see what does Milwaukee rap sound like.
Yeah, for sure.
That
What
was
does
the
this
90s,
sound like? That was something a sense of pride.
Changed after the
But even within the region,
no disrespect, that literally changed
just
after
at that show.
after Drake. Like Drake's era. I'm not blaming Drake. Don't get it twisted. I'm not doing that. I'm just saying I'm using him as a reference point. Like since Drake came into the scene, that's what it seems like. But I'll be interested to know the time and the real timeline.
Like you got a problem, and you got Tyler the Creator, who sound nothing alike.
Facts.
Yeah.
Then you have Steve Lacy.
Steve Lacy on that same, yeah.
And then YG.
Right.
Sound nothing alike.
At all.
So yeah, it's regional, but it's still different. Everybody got their own identities as well.
Right. Which I think people had to have a real conversation with themselves because we know our diversity.
Yeah, for sure.
We always knew our diversity. And it was dope to even see that. That was a moment for me too. Seeing like, I love that he brought Tyler on there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously, because y'all understand the nature, all that, that's a no-brainer. He's one of the biggest artists, but it was dope because it was like they could have easily said, "Oh man, that ain't nothing but a bunch of folks coming together." But it's like, no, that's you getting a full LA experience.
You getting a resurgence.
You getting a resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
You believe that's what we in right now?
Facts.
100%.
Yeah.
Facts.
So wave, what happens? Everything comes in waves. So I think we was reaching fatigue on a certain wave. And this fatigue happens to come at the time when this battle was happening.
That's true.
So what it did was create a paradigm shift.
Right.
I said it.
Start of a new wave.
Ironically, I did a story.
I said it before. I tweeted it. I literally tweeted it. I said, now we're seeing a shift in hip hop culture back to where it's supposed to be. I literally said it.
Where Joe Budden was talking about.
Let me see if I can find
No, it was Ebro. Ebro said it. I think he responded or he reacted to it where he said it was the decline of hip hop and labels, major labels were deprioritizing signing rappers and they were prioritizing, I think it was Latin artists and Afrobeat artists.
Yeah.
And it was to the point where they were getting ready to just push that off to the side. The timing couldn't be more divine.
Yeah.
And when I'm thinking about some of the most exciting lyricists, it's funny because not even just in music, even in battle rap. When I think about the Geechee Gottis, when I think about, I know Daylight's making his way out of there, but when I think about just the elite lyricists that are here, even the ones who are not from here, who live out here,
yeah,
it makes for a different conversation. Beyond that, the songwriting, everything that's happened, I'm excited to see all the music. Obviously, throughout this time, man, you've been able to go even beyond the realm of just hip hop. Y'all keep doing it. Y'all keep doing it, and to see you behind, like, I remember reading like when I had a world history class I took at Cerritos College, and then when I started seeing the same name behind, he's behind this person, this behind this person.
Right.
Oh, so this shit, it wasn't no. I mean, luck plays a role, but this is some point. Oh no, you're the common denominator. It's the same thing with TV shows. You would see the same producer and everything.
Yeah, you would.
Man, SZA's success story is incredible.
Insane. Bro.
It is.
SZA's success story is incredible, but we'll get into that another time. I'm just looking at the time right now, and I know there's things that I wanted to react to, but this was the main event. You know what I'm saying? So we will be back either on Monday or tomorrow. You never know. Maybe tomorrow. All right. Let me know what your thoughts are on this whole situation. Get me? It may have been like a quote unquote long watch, but it was worth it. You know what I mean? Because it gave me a deeper insight into the thinking behind what Kendrick was doing and this, that, and the third. And it brought more, in fact, it even brought more clarity in regards to where the battle started. It did not start with, oh, what happened to that boy? You know what I mean? It happened because of that controversy. And one could argue and say, yeah, Drake has every right to be in his feeling, which he was. Do you know what I mean? And took it personal, which is fine. You can take it personal. But, do you know what I mean? It got to the point where, do you know what I mean? Back and forth, like subliminals, this, that, and the third. Now, boom. Now we're at the stage where it's blatant, it's in your face. Now it's back to being subliminal from Drake's perspective anyway. And it's like, at the end of the day, you have to think about it like this. It was good that the battle happened. The only thing I don't like about the battle is the lawsuits. Do you understand? That's the one thing I don't like. Now, you can argue and be like, yeah, but he called him this, he said that. Listen, I'm not here. I'm not a judge. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not none of these. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you believe someone is something, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It is what it is. Do you know what I mean? Do you know how many times I've heard someone call someone something and it wasn't true? And I'm talking about in hip hop culture in itself, and hip hop in the battle. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta relax. Like, look, even Lil Wayne, this Jay-Z, saying something about Beyonce, and Jay-Z still helped Lil Wayne. So I'm like, why didn't Lil Wayne sit Drake down and say, bring Jay Prince into the phone and be like, yo, you need to chill, right? You lost the battle. It's fine. Do you know what I mean? It's fine. You can brush up on your skills, yeah? Learn from this, brush up on your skills, and then if there's going to be a next battle, you can do what you're doing there. Do you know what I mean? You clearly had fun dealing with Officer Ricky. Do you know what I mean? Let's keep it all the way a buck. But as far as Kendrick Lamar goes, you know what I mean? Like, you took the L on that one. It is what it is. As far as ASAP Rocky, yeah, let's call it even. Do you know what I mean? Let's call it even. But like, yeah, man. Like, I just feel like Kendrick is in a position where, you know, he's like, and you know what? Let me see the comments real quick. Sorry, I meant to see this properly. Shout out to Maximilian Christ, man. Get me. But yeah, man, listen. Says react to. Okay. I'll see if I can react to that. But anyway, depending on what it is, do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna just react to anything now. But I appreciate the suggestion. And if you got any other suggestions, anyone else watching, go ahead, leave that suggestion. And if I can get around to react to it, I will, just depending on what it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? I've got to adhere to YouTube community guidelines. That's the other thing. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on the whole situation, this whole live stream, all that stuff there, whatever I reacted to. Give me share, like, comment. Yeah, yeah.